this video, we'll solve multi-step equations with fractions. And there is a way to clear the fractions and solve the equation without remembering how to find the common denominator or multiply or divide fractions. So what we're going to start with is clearing the fractions, get rid of them. How? We can multiply by a number in order to eliminate the fraction, and that number is the common denominator for all the fractions that I have. So I have 6, 2, 3, and here I would add a denominator, so all the fractions have one, and the common denominator will be 6. 6 can be divided by 6, 6 can be divided by 2, 6 can be divided by 3, and 6 can be divided by 1. Once I multiply both sides of the equations by 6, by that common denominator, the fractions will disappear. Let's see. Is that really true? So 6 times 5, on the numerator we multiply, divide by 6, that's first fraction. 6 times 1, divide by 2, that's the second fraction. 6 times 2 with the x, divide by 3 on the right hand side, plus 6 times 2, divide by 1. So when we multiply the numerator of each term and save the denominators the same. On the next step, when we simplify each fraction, we will have whole numbers. For instance, 6 and 6 can be simplified right away, and that will be 5x. Or I can multiply 6 times 5, 30. 30 divided by 6 is 5x, no fraction. 6 times 1, 6 divide by 2, 3. 6 times 2, 12, divide by 3, that would be 4x, plus, and then 6 times 2 is 12. No fractions. From there, we want the variables to be on one side, constants on the other. So I'll keep the 5x here, bring the minus 4x. I'll keep the positive 12, and then bring minus 3 over. Combine the like terms. 1x equals 9. 1x or x equals 9, or I can say divide by 1, and that would be 9 for the x value. So to clear the fractions, we need to find a number. That number is the common denominator. Common denominator multiplied on both sides will clear the fractions. Check this out. I have denominators 5, 15, and now I have a number here that it's mixed. So before I multiply by the common denominator, I need to change this to improper fraction. So that's the little problem right here. So I'm not multiplying by a number, by the common denominator, until I have either proper or improper fractions. No mixed numbers. So I have here 1x over 5, leave it alone, minus 6 over 15, and then 1 times 5, 5 plus 1, 6, keep the denominator. Now multiply both sides by 15, because 15 is the common denominator. 15 can be divided by 5, 15 can be divided by 15, and 15 can be divided by 5. So the common denominator is what I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation. 15 times 1x, divide by 5, distribute. 15 times 6, so minus 15 times 6 over 15 equals, here we have 6 times 15 over 5. Simplify each fraction. I can go 15 times 1 is 15, divide by 5 is 3x. Fraction is gone. Or I can simplify here. 15 times 6, divide by 15. I can simplify right here the two 15s, and that'll be minus 6. Or I can multiply 15 times 6 and then divide by 15. And it's still 6. I have 6 times 15 divide by 5. So I can multiply and then divide, or I can simplify this 5 and 15, and then just multiply 6 times 3. Gives me smaller numbers to work with. Divide by 1. So that's 18. From here, add 6 using inverse operations. 3x equals 24, and then divide by 3. And the x value will be 8. And I didn't have to use any rules of fractions except finding that common denominator so I can multiply. Once you multiply by the common denominator both sides and distribute, the fractions clear out. Let's see more. Let's look at this common denominator. 7, 2, 4, and I need to add a 1 under. So for every fraction that I have, I need to see a denominator. 2 and 7 and 4 all go into 28. Don't think there is anything less than that. So I have to multiply both sides of this equation by 28. And when I do that, the fractions will clear out. Let's see that happen. 28 times 2 with the x, divide by 7, plus 28 times 1 on the numerator, divide by 2, keep that denominator. 28 times 3 times x, keep the 4 on the denominator, plus 28 times 2, divide by 1. So we multiply all the numerators by 28, keep those denominators for now. When you simplify each of these fractions, the denominators will be divided and fractions will be cleared. So 28 times 2, divide by 7. We can go like this. 28 times 2, that will be 56, divide by 7, that will be 8. Or you can simplify the fractions here. 28 divided by 7, that would be 4, and 7 divided by 7, so I can simplify by 7. And then 4 times 2 is 8x, plus 28 divided by 2 here is 14, so 14x. 28 divided by 4 here, I have 28 divided by 4 is 7, so I can simplify the fraction and then multiply. 7 times 3, now it's 21x. And here I don't have anything to simplify because it's 1 on the denominator, so I have to multiply 28 times 2. That will be 56, divide by 1. 56. Common, now simplify. So we have a few variable terms, 8 and 14. We can combine. That would be 24 or 22. Then we subtract this 21. (22 minus 21 will be 1x equal 56, and x will be 56. or we can say divide by 1. And here is our final answer, 56, without fraction rules. Let's reinstate that by seeing more examples. You can pause the video and give it a try, or go along with me. So, based on my equation, I have to analyze first what kind of fractions I have. So I have 4 over 1 here I need to add. This one is a mixed number, so I need to change it to improper, and then 9 over 1. So I can't multiply by the common denominator yet, because I need all the fractions to be proper and improper, no mixed. So let's do that first. 15x over 2 stays minus 4x over 1 equals 3 times 4, 12, plus 3, 15, x over 4, and then minus 9 over 1. So now I have all my fractions with denominators, no mixed numbers. 2, 1, 4, 1. Common denominator, 4. 4 can be divided by 2, by 1, by 4, by 1. So that means I have to multiply both sides of the equation by 4 in order to clear out the fractions. So here I go. 4 times 15, x divided by 2, minus 4 times 4, x divided by 1, keep the denominator. 15 times 4, or 4 times 15, with that x divided by 4, minus, and then 4 times 9, divide by 1. Keep the denominators. Simplify each fraction. 4 and 2 can be simplified. 2 times 15 will be 30x. 4 times 4, here I have 16x, divided by 1 is 16. 4 and 4 here can be simplified, so 1 times 15 is 15x, divided by 1. And then minus 4 times 9, 36, divided by 1 is 36. So I had cleared all my fractions. Combine the like terms. I have 30x minus 16, so that will be 14x, and then I need to bring down this minus 15, or subtract it from the right side, bring it over to the left, leave the constant negative 36 on the right. Combine like terms. Negative 1x equals negative 36. Divide by negative 1. Your x value now is positive 36. How's that? Let's see more, or try on your own, or go along with me. Challenge yourself. Try. Fractions are all fine. There are no mixed numbers here. So I have 4a2, 4. The common denominator will be 8, because 8 can be divided by 4, by 8, by 2, by 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 8. 8 times 3 with the x divided by 4, plus 8 times 5 divided by 8 equals 1 times 8, or 8 times 1 divided by 2, plus 8 times 1x divided by 4. On the next step, we simplify each fraction to clear those fractions. So I have 8 times 3, I can do 24 divided by 4. That would be 6, or I can simplify the fraction here by 4, and then 2 times 3 is still 6x for the first term. 8 and 8 can be simplified, and that would be 5. Or I could have multiplied 8 times 5, 40, divided by 8, still 5. 8 times 1, 8, divided by 2, 4, plus 8 times 1, 8, divided by 4, 2, with the x. Variables on both sides, so keep the 6x on the left. Bring over the 2x minus 2x using inverse operation. 4 is the constant stays. Minus 5 bring over inverse operation. Combine the like terms. 4x equals 1 minus, I'm thinking ahead. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Next step is to divide by 4. And this is when we can leave the fraction negative 1/4 because it cannot be simplified. It's already in simplest form. Or we can change this answer to a decimal 0.25. So again, don't expect whole numbers for your answers all the time. Decimals and fractionals are good. They can happen. And the last problem for us, let's clear those decimals by multiplying by the common denominator, which is 6. So both sides of the equation, we must multiply by 6 and get rid of those fractions. So 6 times 2, x divided by 3, plus 6 times 1, x divided by 2, 6 times 2, x divided by 1, plus 6 times 5, divided by 6. Simplify. 6 times 2 is 12, divided by 3, that's 4x, plus 6 times 1 is 6 divided by 2, that's 3x, equals 6 times 2 is 12 divided by 1, that will be 12x, and 6 times 5 is 30 divided by 6 is 5, or I can simplify and still have plus 5. Let's simplify same variable terms. We can add them up, 7x, and then bring over minus 12x equals 5. Combine 7 minus 12 for the variable terms. We have negative 5x equal 5. And then divide by negative 5. Last step gives us the value of negative 1 for the final answer.